You're not living, you're surviving. This is the exact reason why you feel lazy, you feel exhausted, you can't focus, you can't get out of bed, but you're not lazy. It's your brain's way of saving your life, protecting you. What if I told you that the exhaustion you feel isn't really weakness, but a proof of your strength? Maybe right now you can't get out of bed. Maybe you're scrolling, looking for a sign, and this is it. You're not broken, you're surviving. Maybe this is your time to listen to your brain when it says, slow down. I'm doing everything what I can to keep you safe. I really wish I could sit beside you right now. You probably in your room, doors shut, because it's the only place where you can pretend you have a control. Or you're hiding somewhere where no one can see you. You're trying to block out the noise of a house that feels anything but safe. Your toes feel heavy. The air feels unsafe, and you're just trying to disappear. You're exhausted and you don't know why. But let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't know this yet, but your body, it's already keeping secrets your mind can't even name. Your body storing the stress, already learning how to go numb, how to hide in silence, how to shrink so small that maybe the pain will notice you. You think you're just tired, but what you're really feeling is the weight of silence pressing down on you. You've learned that raising your voice only makes storms louder, so you bury your truth, thinking you are broken when really you're just protecting yourself the only way you know how. You're already surviving battles invisible to everyone else. But one day you will look back, and trust me, you will look back. You will realize that this exhaustion wasn't weakness, wasn't laziness. It was a proof that you endured what you shouldn't have had to carry. When people talk about survival mode, they often imagine fight or flight, adrenaline pumping, reacting to danger. But the truth is, the survival mode has many faces. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like overworking, overpleasing, overachieving. Sometimes it looks like procrastinating, sleeping for hours but never actually feeling rested, hiding under the cover with the music blasting in your ears because silence feels so loud, endless scrolling on your phone or binge watching TV. And isn't that funny? People think you're wasting your time. They think that you don't care. But the truth is, you're just protecting yourself the only way you know how. Survival mode isn't your weakness. It isn't just feeling. It's your nervous system response, your nervous system conserving energy, rationating what little safety it feels, and keeping you alive until conditions improve, until it feels safe to breathe again. So if you ever thought that there's something wrong with you, or you've been called lazy, let me tell you that I wish someone told me years ago, you're not lazy, you're not broken. You carrying trauma, you carrying exhaustion from battles no one else can see. I know you don't feel strong right now. You feel invisible and you feel small. There was no one to tell me there was nothing wrong with me. But if you're listening to me right now and you feel the exact same way, I want you to know that this isn't just a message for 13-year-old me. This is for you too. You are special. And this is my promise to you that this is not how your story will end. When I was 17, I escaped 4 walls that hurt me. The walls that never felt safe. Thinking leaving would set me free, but freedom didn't feel the way I thought it would. I was carrying my entire life in a few bags, and yet somehow it felt even heavier than ever. Because even when you run, survival follows you. I was trying to finish school, but my mind was foggy and my body tired. I looked at the other girls at my age, laughing about college, future plans. They fell in love like the world had a room for them. And me, I never had that safety net others had. No soft place to fall. No one to tell me it's okay. You are safe. And then I would think, what I can't do what they do. What I can't have what they have. Why always I have to be the one who tries the hardest to make it till tomorrow? When you're young, you don't realize that your brain is conserving every ounce of energy it can because safety feels like a luxury you don't have. That's why you can't focus in class. That's why you can't hold down jobs without breaking down. That's why you stay in a relationship even though they hurt you. Because your nervous system believes it's safer to cling than to risk being abandoned again. At this age, you don't need more discipline. Be stronger, be tougher. You don't need anyone shouting at you, work harder. You need someone to tell you that your brain is doing the best it can, that you're strong enough, and then the rest is not laziness, and you don't have to earn it at all. You might not see it yet, but you're living inside a spell called survival mode. It cloaks you in fatigue, fog, and self-doubt. It tricks you into thinking you're not good enough, when in truth, you're just conserving the last sparks of energy you have left to survive. Every moment you get out of bed, every time you keep walking forward with no map, no safety net, that is sacred resilience. That's what the mystics call endurance of a soul. This is exactly where self-improvement and personal growth has been misunderstood. The culture says, hustle harder, be more productive, or forcing you to change your mindset. But if you're in a survival mode, those words feels like a bricks on your chest. And that's why many of you feel burned out. You're feeling like you're just not good enough. You're comparing yourself to the others. You think there's something wrong with you because you can't keep up with the others. But the truth is, your mental health and your productivity are deeply connected. Your nervous system decides how much energy your body gives out. Anxiety relief, burnout recovery, emotion healing, they don't come from pushing harder, from doing more. They come from learning how to feel safe again. You see, self-help isn't about forcing yourself into unrealistic routines, pushing yourself into becoming a new person, into becoming someone who you don't even want to be. Real self-improvement, that kind that actually lasts, isn't born from shame. It's rooted in self-love. It's about being able to tell yourself, I'm not lazy, I'm just tired. And this is exactly where every lasting mindset shift begins. Not in punishment, not in comparison, but in compassion. So if you seem like me, sitting out there with all your bags packed, thinking about running away, believing freedom would mean worry-free, but finding out that survival still presses down on your chest, still follows you, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not weak. You're not broken. Every tear you cry is a proof that you're just a human. Every time you take a break and rest, every time you got back up and choose not to give up, that's the deepest kind of growth. To anyone listening right now who feels lost, feels tired, comparing yourself to other people who seem to have it easier, I want you to know that you're not lazy or broken. You got this. You are stronger than you think. This is your time to rewrite your own story. Back when I was 23 years old, I was holding my daughter in my arms for the very first time. She was so small, so fragile. And yet, in that moment, she felt bigger than the entire world. And that weight of the world was suddenly heavier than ever, but also clearer. Because for the first time in my life, I knew one thing with absolute certainty, and that she would never go through what I went through. I knew I was going to give her a better life than the one I had. I didn't know how yet. I didn't have the roadmap. I didn't have all the answers. But I had a promise I made to myself. And sometimes a promise, a one single promise, is the most powerful kind of fuel you can wish for. But there's the thing that no one tells you. Even becoming a mother doesn't erase your wounds. If anything, it shines light on them. Here you are with this new life depending on you, while you still carrying the weight of your old life. The pain didn't vanish just because my life changed. The exhaustion didn't magically fade. In fact, I felt more exhausted than ever before, because now I wasn't just surviving for me, I was surviving for her too. I was still questioning myself every single day. Am I good enough? Will I ever be enough? What if now I would fail even as a mother? And if you're still here listening to me right now, maybe these questions live inside your head too. Let me tell you something I wish someone told me back then. The fact that you asking yourself if you enough, it only proves that you already are. Because only someone who cares deeply, only someone who loves beyond measure, asks that kind of question in the first place. But when you're living in survival mode, you don't see things that way. You wake up in survival mode. You go to sleep in survival mode. And in between, you're trying to pour from a cup that's been empty for years. And yet, you still keep showing up. You still going. You keep holding it all together, even when it feels like you're falling apart. Do you still think it's laziness? You still think you're broken? This is a courage, love, disguised as exhaustion. But no one told me that at 23. I thought I was failing not only myself, but my daughter. I thought every tear was a proof of my weakness. Every mistake meant my daughter deserved better than me. But the truth was, every time I fed her when I was running on no sleep, every time I hugged her and rocked her to sleep with my tired body, and then went to sleep with my eyes open just in case she would get up. Every time I choose her, even if I could choose myself, that was the love and strength stronger than any wound you will ever carry. This is a message to everyone listening to me right now. Maybe you at your 13, hiding from the world in silence, blaming yourself for things that aren't your fault. Maybe you're 17, lost, confused and overwhelmed. Maybe you're in your 20s, holding on with everything you've got just to survive, thinking you're not good enough, or you will never be. Or maybe you're finally realizing that you're stronger than you think you are, that you're not broken, you're not lazy, and you're not failing anyone or yourself. You survivor. And trust me when I say survival mode is your greatest act of self-love. It's your greatest power, even when it might not feel like that right now. If you're still here listening to these words, I want you to take this in. The fact that you made it this far, through the storms, through the silence, through the nights where you thought you couldn't make it, it's proof of something powerful and sacred. You don't just survive, you endure. And endurance, my love, is what transforms into strength, into power. I know you might be tired, overwhelmed, empty, done. But there's something I need you to know. Strength is not always loud. It doesn't always look like a fire. Sometimes strength looks like a quiet persistence, like crying in the shower before sleep, but still getting up in the next morning. Sometimes strength is simply choosing to stay alive. And that choice matters more than you think. The life you've been dreaming of, the peace you crave, the love you've been searching in everyone else, it begins with realizing that survival was never weakness. It was your first act of self-love. And now you get to choose your second act. What will happen if for once you stop calling yourself broken and start calling yourself brave? What would shift in your life if you stopped waiting for somebody else's permission and gave yourself the love you've been waiting for so long? What would your days look like if you finally believed that rest is not laziness, is essential? You don't have to answer him right now. I want you to sit with these questions. This is your time not to be perfect, not to hustle, not to prove anything to anyone, but to begin. And in the case that no one has told you this lately, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you, not for what you've been doing, not for how strong you pretend to be, but for the fact that you're still here, you're still alive, still choosing to get back up, still trying, even when it feels like mission impossible. It's not too late, and you're not alone this time. This is your time. This is your beginning. Now, I leave you with this thought. If your younger self could see you right now, making it this far, how would they thank you for surviving it all? See you next video, love. And until then, be kind to yourself. Kisses.